Alright, mic check, 1, 2. Alright, so I want to get into a couple of things about this shooter. One, I assume it was a bolt action, there was only one shot. Okay? That being said, if there are mechanisms that you can have on the side of the gun that will catch your casings, but they are really bulky, this, that, and the other, sometimes you can have the bullet not extract from your gun right, so more than likely they didn't use anything like that. Okay, I'm going to guess from what I seen, it looked to me like something about like a 308 or 30-06. That's what I assume the rifle was that was used. That's just from the damage that I've seen and everything else, okay? So, if it was a neck shot, 4 to 6 inches, that's going to deviate with the winds that I'm looking up. I looked up 12 miles an hour. I think that's in Salt Lake City. That's like 40 miles north, but we're just going to, that's why I put 10 miles an hour. Now it says 16 miles an hour down here. So we're going to say best case scenario, it was 10. Okay. I know that there's buildings in there. That's why I did what I did. Because when wind goes up over the building and everything, it's going to cut the wind speed down and everything else like that. But we're just looking for averages. So this is what I'm trying to say, that this person knew exactly what they were doing in different theoretical things that are going on here. So let's just say the wind, so you're going to have 4 to 6 inches, okay? 4 to 6 inches of deviation in that bullet. Now this person, what I would assume, you can click for mils or MOA depending on what type of scope that you're having. But I assumed at this point they probably sighted in, most people do, at 100 yards. So with that 100 yards, your bullet's going to fly in an arc. Your sight's going to stay normal like this. Your bullets from the barrel is going to have to, it actually starts underneath. It'll go up and meet at 100 yards where your optic is sighted in at. And then after about 150 or so, it'll start slowly dropping. So even if they sighted in at 200, if it's like more than a 1 MOA gun, you're going to kind of have like a 2-inch pattern, probably at about 200. So, so you're talking, if they sighted it in at 200 yards, plus the wind factor and everything else, you're going to lose at least 1 inch for MOA accuracy. And then you got the 4 to 6 inches at 200 yards with the wind deviation. Okay. So now you're talking about 8 inches of play. Okay. Because your MOA, if it's a 2 MOA, it's going to be a 2-inch circle at 100 yards. So at 200 yards, it's going to be a 4-inch circle. Plus this wind, you know what I mean? So now you're starting to, now I think you're going to be able to start putting this in. So for somebody to put a neck shot at 200 yards, man, I don't know. I really don't know. If maybe they were aiming for the head, didn't adjust for the bullet drop and everything, and that's why it was placed on the neck. Potentially could be. Maybe they were looking to shoot him high chest, and it just got into the neck. I don't know. This is all just speculation on just different stuff. Now, the video that I did watch, okay, I'm not showing any videos of the thing, but the video that I did watch, okay, looked to me like he had some type of metal body armor on, and he was hit in the chest. And the bullet ricocheted up and severed his carotid artery. That's what it looked like to me. Okay, I've been hog hunting plenty of times. I've shot animals with 308, everything else. And it is in my belief that if he was shot with a 308 directly in the neck, it would not have looked like that at all. That's just my opinion. Because there is so much energy so much more energy that would have happened in that one particular spot. I do not, and like I said, I've shot hogs and everything with 308 and 30-06, 5.56, you name it. You're allowed to hunt those with anything. Shot them with 6mm arc, 8mm, whatever. I've shot them with a lot of different rounds. And if it would to be a direct shot, it would not have looked like that, in my opinion, on dope data on previous engagements that I've had. That being said, this shooter also, I think Charlie Kirk had body armor on. I really do. He was shot in the plate, the metal plate ricocheted up into his neck. I already said that. That's what, from my observation of the unedited raw video that I looked at on X, brought me to that conclusion. Okay, also, from everything that I'm gathering online, the shooter is not in custody. There were people there that had, like, I seen a video of one guy with a BB gun. I seen the other video of the guy that was taken into custody in the blue shirt, the old guy. I highly think that was people that was in the area to distract, so the shooter could get away. That's just my thinking. Also, what else? This is not anything crazy. This doesn't even show the thing. I think it's blurred out anyway.
Oh my God. Go, run. Whoa.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Did you hear that? Did you hear that pop? There was 2 pops there.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
That means that, in my opinion, from what I just heard, you heard a boom pop. Or a pop boom. I can't remember in which order. But, regardless, okay, so when you shoot a rifle, let's say this is the end of the barrel right here. That bullet goes out of the barrel faster than the speed of sound, okay? Faster, supersonic, okay? So when you hear a boom pop like that, you're hearing the sonic boom of the bullet before you're going to hear the pop or the boom from the rifle. That's the gunpowder exploding. They're going at 2, because this is the bullet leaving the end of the barrel is constantly making the sonic boom noise, okay? Constantly. Boom, 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 like constantly, all the way down. That's why you hear 2 separate things, which makes me believe that the firearm is not suppressed. That's just my thinking. I'm not at all an expert on anything. These are just me thinking through everything that I've watched and just giving you information that, I have previous knowledge of. Being around firearms, being around, hunting and stuff like that. I'm not ex-military or anything. I watch a lot of gun tubers or YouTube videos on it, and, get a good knowledge about, sighting in rifles and, what type of attachments and everything are best to use, the pros and cons of that type of stuff. Just get more informed about it. I have a firearm right back there. That's a 5.56 Sons of Liberty Soul Snatcher. I don't think I'm allowed to handle it at all. Via YouTube's guidelines, I'm not sure, but it is back there, leaning up against right near that pink trash can, okay? And I know I'm a slob. It's alright. I'm just a dirty neckbeard on the internet, okay? What else was I going to go over? This is a video of the person that is on top of the roof.
Down.
This morning, flags are at half.
Another thing I want to talk about. Okay? This is where the Kirk was. You notice that he's kind of down in a hole here. These are all elevated. You know what I mean? So he's down kind of in a hole, in a gully right here, or a ditch or whatever. You know, this is all going down in elevation, right? He also had a tent above him that's going to block what you can see from above. If you're at a close angle like this, you would not be able to see him on top of this building, right? Because of that tent. And then going out, this is going to block your view. So you're going to have to be pretty far away from this guy to be able to have an angle that is slowly going up so you could see him to get... He's tucked pretty far behind that tent as well. To be able to get to where you can see his vitals and everything. This is another one. The guy is laying prone on a roof.
Just saying. He just ran from over. Where's my finger? Well, from over there, ran in.
He ran over to get a shot.
Now he's right there.
You've got a guy in the prone position on a rooftop getting ready to shoot somebody. Police have said they haven't found a weapon either, which means the person took it with them when they ran, which is
that typical?
So, well, it depends on what you mean by typical. A professional would not do that.
Right.
Professional would not only would you wear, I don't even want to say this stuff. No.
Okay.
But no, it's...
So, I believe that if, just me with all the information, that I have in my life that I've gathered, if I was going to do any type of something like this, I'd wear gloves. I'd wear a mask. I would make sure I brought some type of wipes and everything else. And I would make sure that every single bullet, no fingerprints on, the magazine as well, wipe everything down and only touch that thing afterwards with gloves. Then do the shoot to where nothing of your skin or DNA can get onto that rifle and leave it. Like that guy just said, yeah. You'd have to, this is what kind of throws me off, because the shot isn't really that... If it happened like I think it happens, to where Charlie has had bulletproof, a plate carrier on underneath of what he was having, and it just ricocheted up into his neck like I think happened, it's really not that bad. It wouldn't be hard to pull that off with an LPVO. Probably not a red dot. You're probably not going to see a red dot at 200 yards making that shot. I really doubt it. It's going to be some type of magnified optic, like an LPVO or a scope or something of that. That's what I think. And as well as the high probability of it being a bolt action rifle, I think that you need to make it happen in one. So you're going to have some type of magnified optic on the gun when and or if they do find it. You'll probably see that, in my opinion. And I don't know. I just, the guy, see, what I presume is you're sitting up top, right? You're proned out. You take the shot, okay? Then you immediately run. How are you getting off that building while you're carrying a rifle? I've seen some type of ladders and stuff on the side of the buildings, on all the topography, topography and satellite imagery and whatever else. There are ladders and stuff. So he must have had some type of backpack, which would then make me believe that he either had a sling on the rifle, which is a high probability, to where he could just throw it over himself and climb and do whatever else. I have a sling on my rifle. That's not really, that's just another thing that shows that this was somebody that was, in fact, knowledgeable. Okay, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure the guy would have had to have a sling, and or it would have had to have been some type of breakdown rifle. Could have been. To where he could just break it apart. There are rifles out there to where you could just literally twist, or like take a safety thing, twist, and then the gun pretty much breaks in half. And then you could stow it in a backpack or something like that. So I believe it was unsuppressed. I believe it had a magnified optic. I believe that it was definitely a bigger caliber. I think the smallest size I would be comfortable saying is something like maybe like a 6.5 Creedmoor, 6mm arc, something like that, at the like pretty much a 30 cal projectile. In my opinion, I don't even know if 6mm is a 30 cal projectile, but I know 308 is. I'm more familiar with those type of rounds, 30-06 something. I believe it was something of that nature, and because if he was hit with like a 5.56, I don't feel like the sound signature would be the same as what I heard. And I don't believe that if it did hit his plate carrier and ricocheted like that, it would have done the damage that it did, in my opinion. Another thing is if it was a direct neck shot from a 5.56 caliber or 223 or whatever, smaller caliber like that, that kind of makes more sense on if it was a direct shot to the neck. That's just kind of where I'm at. If because when that bullet is going supersonic, his whole shirt moves. It's just like a little psh. That's what makes me believe he was hitting a plate. I know there's, like I said, the sonic boom, the wave that comes off of it and everything, the energy that is applied at that spot. If he was hit directly there, I really don't think you would see his shirt move like that. Yeah, you would, like, if you were to slow it down in super slow-mo, if it, like, let's say hit, you would have, like, a little ripple effect, like, even doing that. But that wave, in my opinion, would not be big enough to move his whole entire freaking shirt. That's why I say he was hitting a plate. I think he was wearing a plate. I really do. What else? Scoping out the place, he would have had to have... Like, if we look at Butler, PA, too, you can kind of see some type of similarities to stuff like this going on, and I don't think we're going to ever get the information that I feel like we deserve on this. Just like the Butler, PA, pretty much you got nothing from it at all. It's, I don't know. I really don't know. But as of right now, as far as my digging, this is really where I can kind of end the conclusions that I've drawn, because I really haven't had enough time to sit down, look at all the informations that are verified information, that I can draw any further or more conclusions on this, because this is pretty much like the only questions I've asked myself and kind of drew conclusions on the data that people are reporting right now. But, I really appreciate you for watching, and hey, just let me know what you think in the comments. I mean, maybe you know something that I have not seen yet on this, or maybe, you think one of my conclusions are terribly wrong off of what information that you've looked at and conclusions that you've drawn. Let me know what you think. Maybe I'm just totally wrong about everything that I've thought so far. I don't know, but appreciate you for watching.